Like all in the Mum collection of furniture, this is out of Tassie oak, still using the bench top material for the top. This time, however, a much smaller portion is needed, so it's just a cross-cut first. Later on, I'll be coming back to get some matching drawer false fronts. This was then cut to width, so I ended up with a 750 by 480mm for the top. Just like with the hall table, the legs are to be 60 by 60, which requires lamination. First I oversized the length to about 900, so it was more manageable for ripping. I then ripped everything down to 600mm wide. Then the 8 sections were glued into 4 pairs, forming the legs, and yes, I used way too much glue, but given the 5 degrees Celsius or so, I'm blaming the weather for lack of dexterity. The legs had to be taken inside to dry, as Type 1-3 requires 12 degrees or higher to set. For the rails that aren't part of the false front, I was able to get everything out of this 700mm piece. I ripped this piece down into 20mm strips, leaving me with 32 by 20. Using a stop block on the table saw sled, I was able to cut the short rails down to the length of 350mm. I have plans to build a new crosscut sled with some general improvements, including a built-in scale and stop, in the next few months. Next up is the face frame for the drawers. As Mum doesn't want any pulls or handles, there'll be more on that later, a face frame is really needed. First the stiles are ripped and then the rails are resawn. The quickest way to do that is with the table saw, as it leaves a nice clean surface compared to that of the bandsaw. If I had a pocket hole jig, there is a good chance I'd have used that for the face frame, as I don't. The easiest choice for me was to use the domino. I did a dry fit first to make sure everything looked right, then took it inside where it was a little bit warmer so that the glue would set. Like with the hall table, the sides will have panels. However, this time around we went for some Tassie oak veneered MDF. Plywood in Australia is very expensive, so for the same thickness with Tassie oak veneer we would be looking at about $300, just over 3 times the price of the MDF. As it's not structural, the MDF is just fine. I rough cut the MDF to size and then went back to the legs to cut them to final length. This then let me do all the joinery on the legs and rails, as well as routing the groove for the MDF to sit in. This then allowed me to get to the final size of the MDF panels. As you can see, the panel looks pretty good. This is just a dry fit at the moment, just held in with dominoes. So I'm going to leave the video here and continue this in part 2, probably this weekend coming. I've got to glue the panels and legs and the whole frame up together. The drawers need to be made, drawer fronts need to be cut, made, and finish needs to go on everything. I'm probably forgetting something, but I'll get to that. Unlike the garage cupboards, workshop cupboards, drawers, things, this project won't be dragging on as there is a client, my mum, so there are demands to get this done as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.